I want to share a story with you tonight, one that I tell with confidence, because I know most of you here take these things seriously. Not long ago, I read about the discovery of a woman's remains in a house in Iztapalapa. That news brought back a memory, something my Aunt Julia once told me. Julia spent much of her life working as a housekeeper, especially around Coyoacan. In the mid-90s, she got a job cleaning the home of a well-known theater actor. He's long gone now. She knew him because, while she never went to the theater, she had seen his face in a few films and even in soap operas. He was a serious, reserved man, never greeted her, never stopped to chat. Sometimes when she arrived in the mornings, she'd see young people leaving his bedroom, sometimes men, sometimes women. She didn't care about that. What bothered her was that he never said good morning. Still, her pay was always on time. That alone was reason enough to stay. But something was different in that house. Julia had worked in old mansions before, huge places, full of history and their own ghost stories. She had never been afraid of the supernatural. And yet, in this house, something felt off. She described sudden waves of sadness that hit her so strongly she'd break down in tears. These feelings always came when she was near one room in particular, the green bedroom. On rainy days, she swore she could hear a child crying in the house. Sometimes, hidden beneath the rumble of storms, she even heard a voice calling her name. Julia tried to ignore it, finishing her chores as quickly as possible. But one evening, she stayed later than usual. The actor had hosted colleagues for breakfast, and Julia was asked to come in the afternoon to restore order afterward. There was so much to clean that she didn't leave until after 9 at night. The actor wasn't home, and Julia hated being there alone. She thanked heaven that it hadn't rained all day. But just as she was about to leave, the skies opened and a heavy storm began. She decided to wait it out inside. That's when the crying began. This time it was louder, clearer. She didn't know if it was simply the silence of the empty house making it worse, or her own fear amplifying it. But soon, she realized it wasn't her imagination. The sound moved, from the kitchen, through the hallways, like a child walking around the lower floor. Then it stopped, replaced by the sound of little footsteps running quickly up the stairs. A door slammed shut upstairs. Julia panicked. She ran to the front door, ready to escape, but then she froze. What if someone had actually broken into the house? If something was stolen, she'd be blamed. After all, she was the only one with keys. Poor people fear ghosts, but they fear losing their jobs even more. So she turned back. The crying was unmistakably that of a child now. It stopped as soon as she closed the door behind her. She climbed the stairs slowly, the storm raging outside, trees in the garden bending under the force of the wind. At the end of the hall, she reached the green bedroom. She opened the door. In the corner sat the figure of a boy, his head buried between his knees, arms wrapped tightly around them. Julia stared, her mind trying to convince her it was just her imagination, until the boy lifted his head. She ran. 2 steps at a time, down the stairs, straight to the front door, where she nearly collided with the actor returning home. He asked her to wait so he could give her a ride, speaking more kindly than he ever had before. "There's a child in the green room," Julia told him, shaking. "I know," he replied, heading upstairs without hesitation. When he came back down, his face had changed. "It's good to know I'm not losing my mind," he told her quietly. "If you ever feel like you can't keep working here, I'll understand. Sometimes even I can't bear being alone in this house." They got into his car. But before driving off, he told her, "Look up. At the green bedroom window." Julia did. To this day, she swears she saw a woman's face staring down at them. A horrible, twisted face. That, the actor said, is not a child. But I suspect it wants me to believe it is. You see, I lost a 5-year-old son. Whatever lives in that house must think it can use that against me. But when I hear the voice calling my name, when I hear the boys cry, what I feel isn't sorrow. It's pure evil. Julia crossed herself and prayed the entire way home. She had so many questions, but fear locked her voice. She could barely whisper goodnight when he dropped her off. She tried not to return, but she needed the money. Work was scarce. So she kept going back, though now she often begged my mother to accompany her on rainy days. My mother never heard or saw anything. But for Julia, the voices grew stronger, more insistent. She began working with headphones, blasting music just to block out the cries of the boy and the woman she swore she heard. Weeks later, she agreed once again to clean in the evening, lured by the promise of extra pay. She arrived around 5. Distant lightning announced another storm. The actor and a young woman were home at first, but soon he told Julia, "I'm taking her home. I'll be back soon." The house fell silent. For once, Julia felt bold enough to check upstairs. She opened the green room's door, and froze. On the bed sat a woman, her back to Julia, facing the window. She wore a white nightgown. Her hair looked like it was falling out in clumps. The skin on her neck, head, and arms looked rotten, decaying. For a moment, Julia thought it was some kind of stage prop. But then the woman turned her head. Julia bolted, racing down the hall, not toward the stairs but deeper into the house. She ducked into a bedroom with a phone and frantically called her husband. He came as fast as he could. As she fled, she noticed something chilling. She had closed the green room's door behind her, but now it stood wide open. And just as she reached the stairs, she saw her. The woman, standing at the bottom. Again, her back to Julia. Julia nearly fainted, collapsing against the railing. The woman took 2 steps forward, and vanished into the darkness of the dining room. At that very moment, the front door opened. Her husband entered, with the actor beside him. Julia told them everything, and swore she would never return. The actor only nodded. And she never did. Later, word spread among friends and neighbors. A construction worker revealed that during renovations in that same house, they had found bodies hidden in the walls, a woman and a small child. My aunt never spoke of it again. But the story haunted her. The actor eventually sold the house to a government official, who kept the discovery quiet so the property could be resold. For years, I avoided that block entirely. Even now, whenever it rains, I remember Julia's story, and I walk the long way around.